Alright, we're back at this Crown Victoria leather couch conversion here on the old P71 Crown Vic out there. And we've got this one about ready to go, passenger seat. Unfortunately, we had to convert back to the original manual seat rather than the power seat. The power seat frame was actually bent. This car was the donor car was in an accident. I didn't really notice it at the time until I basically came up with a wiring harness. Just pieced together what I had, figured out what the wiring was, and checked it with the door panel switches. And it would not go forward and backward well because this seat rail back here is bent. I tried bending it back and it still didn't work. So that kind of works out okay because the car does not have the wiring in the door panel on the passenger side for the seat switch like the driver's side did. I guess we just got lucky and everything was there for the driver's side, but not so lucky on the passenger side. So it's not a big deal. Just had to, do some invasive surgery to pull the old mechanism out, put the current mechanism in, and make a little hole in the leather here for the angle of the seat. And naturally I suppose we could probably figure out how to hook this up. That's the lumbar, but we don't really need it. And the other thing we did was this seat does not have an airbag, a side impact airbag like the original seats did. So you have this airbag wiring, and one thing I noticed about this is it has a resistor in there. It's 68. This is a 68 ohm resistor that's inside of this dummy connector that was in the leather seat, and the wiring harness went to it. And last week when we were doing the other side, I had plugged the wiring harness into the dummy connector on the other seat, and it still made the airbag light come on. So I don't know if that one is missing the resistor. I measured the DC resistance of the airbag, and it's a fraction of an ohm. It's probably like 0.1, 0.2 ohms. So I thought, okay, I'll go downstairs and get a low ohm resistor. I found some 5.6 ohm resistors. So I had intended to cut this open and put a resistor in there. I was very surprised to find that there's already a resistor there. So what we're going to do is put it in like this and see if the airbag light stays off. If not, we'll have to figure out something. On this one, we had to switch over. This is something to do with the seat sensor. And this is a tube that goes to this other sensor. And the connectors were different. So I swapped this module over from the original seat from the car. Unfortunately, this setup is some kind of goo-filled bladder that works against this pressure sensor here. So, yeah, you have to really take the seat all apart to change that. So what I did was, since the connector was different and the wire colors were all the same, I cut the original one out of the original harness and spliced the wires, J-hooked them, soldered them, put shrink tubing on them, and plugged it in, and we'll see if that works too. All right, time to get it doing some seat testing and installation. Well, all right, we got the seat in there now. So now we have both leather couch, driver's and passenger seat in the front. And we have the matching door panels on the front. Still got to go get the rear door panels. We're going to get the radio too, because this radio has the typical volume problem where the volume control doesn't really control the volume anymore. So we're going to get that. So we've got this all wired up, and well, that's just pretty because this is not a power seat on this side, but it does go forward, go backward. The angle adjuster gadget works like it should. And we've got to work on the one mounting hole. These holes, well, you can probably see it right there. You can see the ground through those holes. So the bolts hang out the bottom, and they typically get pretty rusty. Actually, the donor car that these seats came out of, those two bolts just busted right off. That one's still good. We can probably get away with running a tap through it. But we're going to save that till we get the carpet in. We're going to get a dark charcoal gray carpet for it with the good backing and the good jute padding, and with shipping it's and tax and everything, it's a little less than 300 bucks. I thought it was only going to be 200, but when you add the right stuff to it, it gets a little more expensive. But hey, it's worth it. Right now, surprisingly, without that thin pad in it, the car is really loud road noise wise, so it'll be good to get the carpet in. And on the airbag front, until we figure something else out, we've got two pieces of live pyrotechnics hooked up back here. So I'm going to be looking for a way to fool the system into thinking there's an airbag without there actually being an airbag. But other than that, it is looking pretty good. Show you, we'll start it up and show you what kind of lights don't come on. Open, seatbelt light, and no airbag light. So we're good to go. This works. The upper angle on this, I did figure out where the wires are, so I have to check to see if they actually run down in the harness in that other connector, in the main connector that was originally on the seat in this car. If they're there, I can hook them up, and then the angle back will work too. So, but that's it for right now. The seats are going to have to come out again when we get the carpet, so I'm not going to really do anything else for right now. So we are about done for this weekend.